Mike. So I'm thinking objectively here on this.
Yeah, but him going ahead and say, hey, yeah, you guys actually built this country, and then him actually saying, you know what, I support you in your reparations fight, and I'm gonna do what I can to go ahead and get this pushed through for Black Americans is two different things. Like they all know we built the country, like you say, he's the only one that may come out and actually say it, but they all know it. But actually going ahead and putting the actual paperwork in place to go ahead and make this thing really a real thing is something totally different. So we gonna see, man. Like I say, I just have a hard time believing that they gonna slap the cuffs on the former president of the United States. And like I said, I got a couple articles too, man. We're gonna touch up on, and people saying with Desantis, that Desantis has got to be a happy man that all of this is going on because this gives him a clearer path to the actual White House. That if Trump is out the way, it makes his mission, it makes his job that much easier because he doesn't have to go through Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is still, it's a love-hate thing with him in the GOP. It's a bunch of people in the GOP want to see Donald Trump get out the way because they feel he's detrimental to the overall impact of Republicans throughout the nation. But then you still got those fringe GOP people that rushed the Capitol January 6th are like, hey, so goes the Republican Party, so goes Donald Trump. So it's gonna be interesting, man. Like I said, it's really gonna be an interesting thing to actually see how this thing plays out as well, too. I see my man Original's up in the spot as well, too. What's going on, Original? Norwood, what's going on with you? I see you up in the spot as well, too, y'all. We're gonna be starting this thing up in a little bit. We just trying to let some people filter in here before we start going ahead and sharing this information and this knowledge. Original, I definitely want to hear from you tonight as well, too. I'm glad that you got your phone straight and everything too with the app, because it's been this whole situation with the app, because I definitely want to hear what you got to say regarding this whole thing with Donald Trump and slapping cuffs. Trump was the one that said it. That's the thing. Like, he actually came out and said, oh, they're gonna arrest me. like damn, like I find this hard. Are they gonna arrest him over some hush money that he paid to this ex-porn star? That's what it's all about some to the Stormy Daniels chick, some $130,000 measly dollars. This man wipes his ass with $130,000. So they're gonna actually talk about sitting up here and actually, trying to arrest him, indict him over $130,000 that he paid some former porn star. I mean, that's mind-boggling. And I heard people saying that he's the most crooked president of all time. I'm like, yeah. I think we might not know American history on that right there. It's a whole bunch of them.
Actually, I might want to give that to Obama. He's the most crooked. He had everybody fooled, including white folks, and he didn't want to give us reparations, and we voted for him.
I may want to give that to the founding fathers, the ones that's on the money and all these roads and universities named after them and everything else, the ones that got tens of thousands of acres when this country actually became an actual country and had all hundreds of slaves and everything else. I may want to go ahead and make that the actual founding fathers, and it's a whole bunch of them after them. Teddy Roosevelt, it's a whole bunch of them that you can go ahead and put up in that and put right up in there, the Andrew Jacksons of the world and everybody else. Like, it's a long line to say who's the most crooked. Like, straight up. Like, you got presidents that's be.
I was talking about currently. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh, okay. Currently, hey, you still got Nixon. You got Reagan. Come on now, like Reagan, the one that started the help escalate the whole crack era and everything else with the CIA.
You got the Bushes.
You got the Bushes. Yeah. Think about the Iraq War. Think about the Desert Storm. I mean, the whole oil grabs and everything else that's been done as well too. Let's not forget the Clinton Foundation and their great work that they did over there in Haiti. So I mean, it's like pulling straws at this point in time. If you want to really be honest, right here, it's a whole bunch of people in the line for that award. There's no shortage of presidents in the United States that can actually take that honor. So if we just being totally honest right here. Like I say, shout out to you, Original. I see you up in the spot as well, too, man. Like I said, we're gonna get this thing rolling and rolling and rolling. My girl Tony says, I want to see some action. All of them are fools. Yeah. Oh, Tony, we may see some action. I think you're gonna have these rednecks coming out the woodwork here. if they can go ahead and they can cut the fool over Trump losing the election, I mean, if they actually put some cuffs on his hand, and they already talking about in Manhattan, down in Mar-a-Lago, and a couple other places already, they got people on watch, waiting on basically like a riot patrol, almost waiting to see exactly what's going to happen, because you got a lot of people that's nervous about this situation right here. I mean, I've never seen a president that could incite a riot to the point that Trump could. I give him that credit. Like, this joker could actually incite people to actually go out there and actually, like, start rioting and whatnot. K3, what's going on? What's going on with you as well, too? What's going on? I think I may go ahead and get this thing jumping started. Touch up on a couple of these articles real quick, because I wanted to take a couple different articles. I had one from Atlanta Black Star, and I had one from Black Star News. And I don't know if you guys heard, but you heard that this right-wing podcaster, he was definitely cutting the fool. I think I may lead off with that one. That's up in the Jumbotron. You
talking about the Miss Pearly things?
The who now?
The Miss Pearly thing. She was on there with the podcast with a couple of WSs.
This is this cat named Pete Santilli right here. And
yeah, he was with Miss Pearly things. Black, what's his name? Jason Black put a notice on that chick 2 years ago because she was out here trying to steal Kevin Samuels' material and going about it however she felt like. I'll throw you the video. It's yesterday's tape.
Okay, because I saw a chick on there, but I didn't really get a chance because I was so busy. But I heard everybody was talking about this chick that was just magpieing it up left and right. So yeah, definitely send me that.
She needs to be canceled, family. Like anybody in that manosphere talking that BS right now because of this little woman right here. Because she was saying some very disrespectful things that not just only about foundational Black American Negro people, she was shitting on Africans too. Like, she don't give a F if you got melanin in your skin. Like, the real white supremacists came out of that woman. Like, real talk. Like, I'm going to see you the video right now, family.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. I'm probably sure she'd probably be cuddling up at nighttime next to a zaddy. When they start talking reckless like that, you better believe when they come home, they land right next to zaddy up in the bed. Or they might be laying up next to a Karen in the bed. You never know nowadays. So she may either have a zaddy or a Karen up in the bed with a 2 while she popping off like that. Like I say, real quick.
Wait, just 2 seconds. Jason Black had this one quote that he said about her pertaining to her. Remember in one of his videos, he said specifically, you can get the truth from some of these Black folks if they're talking to white folks.
Oh yeah, he said that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. You got the truth out of her when she's talking to white man zaddy. Fact. That is a goddamn fact, respectfully. And I'm gonna send you that video now, and I'm gonna be quiet.
Oh, but don't go too far, because I'm gonna touch up on this article real quick. So I want y'all to hear. Shout out to my girl Rera up in the spot as well too. What's going on, sister? Shout out to Detroit. See you up in the spot. Shout out to my girl Shantae up in the spot. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. As our people filter in, they can join the discussion. I want to just go ahead and get this thing. Shout out to my people on YouTube as well, too. So we're going to go ahead and just touch up on this real quick. We got a couple articles that we got to hit up on. All of it is concerning this whole thing with Trump as well, too. It's all about Trump. This first one is from Atlanta Black Star. It's on the far right-hand side on the Jumbotron for the guys in the actual YouTube chat. It's in the actual description as well, too. It's titled, "The FBI Should Arrest Him. Right-wing podcast encourages MAGA-leaning military to execute Barack Obama, Eric Holden, Susan Rice if Donald Trump is arrested." A far-right Trump supporter called for the assassination of former President Barack Obama and members of his administration. The internet talk show host suggested that MAGA maniacs in the military place the first Black commander-in-chief against a concrete wall and execute him. After former President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform on March 18th to call for protests against what he said will be his arrest on Tuesday, March 21st, podcaster Pete Santilli called on members of the military to execute Obama. He also called for the deaths of former Attorney General Eric Holder and former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. DJ, I see you coming up in here, so let me go ahead and see if I can make you the speaker. I know you be having some issues with this as well, too. Put you up in the co-host. See if you can get up in the co-host. Right-wing Watch captured Santelli's words and shared the video on social media. In the event that Donald Trump is arrested, radical right-wing broadcaster Pete Santelli calls on the military and law enforcement to round up Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Susan Rice, and other members of the criminal group, line up the wall and execute them. Now, see, you can't be black. You can't be.
I think you're in the matrix, bro.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but your phone went digital. It got digitized for a second. Your voice.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Now you back to straight now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good now.
All right. Hopefully.
I just start over, bro, because it started the moment you started reading our article.
But let me go ahead and see how it is real quick before I have to start over, because I know the room's not big, so if I have to start over, it'd be better now anyways. In the event that Donald Trump, I already read that part, get the military, whatever few are left that are going to side with the people. Your military personnel, your people with guns and badges, law enforcement will succumb to the will of the people, Santelli said. He captured and ultimately we absolutely demand that the criminals in this country, if you want them held accountable, the criminals of Barack Obama, Eric Holder, Susan Rice, the entire criminal group that came about as a result of the murder of John F. Kennedy, the people that perpetuated the murder of John F. Kennedy, rise up to that. Military join us and put all of them against the concrete wall. We must do this to save our country and the entire world. Several people took to social media to express their reaction to this suggestion. One person questioned how the former president is viewed as a criminal, asking, Barack Obama has nothing to do with Trump and his choice to be a criminal. Trump supporters appear to be incapable of controlling themselves. They can protest peacefully, but I don't believe they have what it takes. According to federal law, it is illegal for someone to issue a threat against an acting president or his second in command. It is also illegal for someone to knowingly and willingly threaten to kill, kidnap, or inflict bodily harm upon a former president. Can you still hear me all right? Can you hear me? Okay. Many on Twitter believe his remarks provocative enough to have him arrested on federal charges. Such a position would not be unfamiliar to Santelli. He was sentenced in 2018 to time served and probation for his role in the National Wildlife Refugee occupation in Oregon. Santelli's involvement in that standoff between far-right activists and federal law enforcement came 2 years after he was involved in the 2014 Buddy Ranch showdown, for which he also faced charges before they was dropped. Now, this joker here is basically a goddamn domestic terrorist. He's walking around and he's threatening people that was actually the president of the United States. He's threatening his whole cabinet, and he's sitting up here still walking around doing podcasts and everything else. He's already been into it already. He's had basically standoffs and everything else, and he's still sitting around here walking around. So what in the hell is going on? The FBI should arrest him for that, one person tweeted in response to the comments about killing Obama and other black leaders. Another person said, I'm pretty sure this warrants background check from the Secret Service. You can't go around saying this. Hell no, you can't go around saying this. The fact that he only mentions black leaders should tell you all you need to know about him. Should he be investigated? I say he's a prime candidate for it. Cowards asking America to turn in traitors for Trump is ridiculous. Why aren't Republican politicians out there fighting? Pete Santelli should be arrested for asking people to murder President Obama and others. Why doesn't he do it? Jesse James is a dead dog. House Republicans are also protesting Trump's indictment and possible arrest. Republican chairman of the House Judiciary Oversight and Administration Committee sent a letter to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office saying the indictment is rooted in baseless accusations, according to the Washington Post. A spokesperson for the Washington District Attorney, Alvin Briggs, said he would not be bullied into dropping charges. We will not be intimidated by attempts to undermine the justice process, the representative said. The GOP stalwarts were hoping to still have unannounced bribery charges dropped against the former president. According to authorities around the presidential election of 2016, the president paid Stormy Daniels, an adult film star whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, $130,000 in hush money not to speak about the alleged affair in 2006. Trump's former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen already has served time for his role in facilitating the scheme for the individual number one, as Trump was identified in court documents. During Cohen's persecution, which was conducted while his former boss was still in the White House, as a writing A grand jury on the case is yet to return an indictment. Still, New York City is preparing for massive protests by Trump supporters. Mr. Engaging, go ahead. You got it. I know you had your hand up.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to speak on this. This is very serious. I'm looking at the white supremacist element of the domestic terrorism, and them making intimate threats towards a presidential leader, and on top of that, other government officials. This has a historical relevance to this. I'll point to Wilmington in Delaware, and where they came in and stormed those chambers, and they murdered and killed our black leaders to overturn a black community. So when people say that type of stuff, I'm going to say is to my CBC and all those other guys is, where's the policies in return? Where's the policies to lock them up in return? You're talking all this talk, we need to lock you up. We're going to help you out with that. So why in the earth the CBC, Obama, and them ain't having a little powwow to lock this guy up? That's just my only question to them, and creating policies that are equitable to go after these guys. Because they made it no qualms that they're going to take shots at them. And they are willing to take shots at political candidates. So I just want to bring that type of element. I understand that it's mostly on the GOP, but we do need to be worried about also the hidden hands and the adverse forces of white supremacy.
Real talk, and I'm just trying to figure out how this guy is still walking around with the kind of, I mean, he's been in a bunch of different things. I mean, in 2016, 2014, he's having showdowns and he's having this and that or whatever, and he's getting off of time served, and yet he's sitting up here. The threats that he made about Obama and about Susan Rice, Eric Holder. Well, this is supposed to go straight to the actual Secret Service, the FBI, the Secret Service. All of them supposed to hear this, and they supposed to be knocking on this dude's door as soon as he said this kind of stuff. Now, whether you like Obama or you don't like him or whatever, that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is that Obama, was a president of the United States, a two-term president of the United States, was a U.S. senator. And, the people in his cabinet, talking about attorney general and everything else. And this man is sitting up here talking about, basically he's instigating violence against him. He's talking about, if Trump does get arrested, we need to go ahead and put these people on the wall and do bodily harm to them. We need to go ahead and delete them. Go ahead and get them out of here. Let's go ahead and end their lives. That's what he's saying. And the fact of the matter that this guy, he doesn't have the feds and he doesn't have the Secret Service breathing down his throat right now, lets you know exactly the type of white supremacy system that's set up in place. Because if that was a popular black podcaster saying the same thing about a former white president and former attorney general and everything else, people they'd be trying to get him up out of here. They'd be trying to give him charges right here, right now. So this guy's sitting up here, he's saying all kind of nonsense right here. He is threatening the lives of these people right here. He's promoting, he's actually instigating a damn riot potentially. He's talking about, let's go ahead and get them and do this right here. I've never heard anybody in the media say something like to the point that this guy said, and that it's pretty much hush. Nobody's really, they're not making, this is supposed to be on all the major news outlets, what he's saying, the type of threat. This type of threat right here, as soon as they hear it, they're already supposed to have this dude in handcuffs right now. Go ahead, Mr. Engaging.
Yeah, these dudes are insurrectionists. That's what they are. I will go as further to say that they're Confederates and stuff of that elk. You know what I mean? And stuff of that thing. There's a lot of hidden elements that are out there that are they're just the foot soldiers, fam. Guys like him are just the foot soldiers. There are other big guys out there, some of them that are even hidden, that we're not even aware about. But they're going to start rearing their heads more. We start talking about reparations, more that we want to get justice and stuff of that nature. You're going to see their heads rear out more and more and more, fam. You need to just be prepared, be ready. Get ready, stay ready.
What makes this man so dangerous here, too, is that he is the actual mouthpiece. He's a mouthpiece. He's a media mouthpiece right here. So you got to imagine that online that you got in these little secret chat rooms and everything else. You got a bunch of these supremacists meeting up with each other and discussing this same very outcome. And if they and be let's keep it 100 here. If you can sit up here and you can talk about threatening these black people here at this level, that the level that these people are on, like I say, put your personal feelings aside, how you might feel about Susan Rice, Obama, Eric Holder, whatever. If you can threaten people at that level, what can the regular Joe Smo like you and I have to worry about? If this man is sitting up and he's making bold threats like that to somebody, like I said, it was a former president of the United States, and you got attorney generals and everything he's making threats to as well. What do you think? What do you think that secretly behind closed doors these people are saying about black Americans in general? What in the hell does black Americans, what the hell does Obama and them even have to do with this with Trump right here? Obama hasn't been president since 2016. We're in 2023. I mean, what are we talking about right here? Obama has nothing whatsoever to do with any of this. Like I say, whether you're an Obama fan or not, this has nothing to do with Obama or Eric Holder or any of them right there. Trump came into power in 2016. Okay, this has nothing whatsoever to do with Obama. We're sitting up here. We got a bunch of spoiled people up here, malcontents that can't handle reality, so they want to go ahead and blame it on everybody else. This has nothing. If you want to be mad with the Democratic Party, be mad with the judicial system, be mad with the votes that was taken or whatever, be mad whatever you want to be mad with. But this ain't got nothing to do with Obama. This has not one thing to do with Obama. This MAGA thing is scary right here. This MAGA thing is dangerous right here. And like I say, I'm going to touch up too on Ron DeSantis as well too. A lot of people in the GOP, they won't come out and say it, but politically they held hostage here because they can't get away from the whole MAGA fan base that's running the Republican Party right now. As much as they try to distance themselves from him, when they do try to distance themselves from Donald Trump and some of the rhetoric that's coming out, you know, it's millions of voters tell them that, hey, you got to go back into that inner circle with them. You can't just go ahead and let Donald go by himself. You have to back him. You have to support him. You have to go ahead and because what he's saying is what we feel. You got millions of people that feel the same way as Trump. And see, DeSantis to a certain level, he's not at the level of Trump because Trump has been going in on DeSantis recently. And DeSantis has been like he's been trying to turn the other cheek and ignore it and whatnot. DeSantis is secretly hoping, I know he's secretly hoping that this will be the end of Donald Trump. He wants to declare for president. He wants to run for president. But he knows with Donald Trump, it's a big shadow looming over the party right now. So he can't just go in against Trump like that head up. He needs something to kind of cripple Trump. And this is just the red herring that he needs right here for Trump to go ahead and stumble. He needs this to go ahead and go through. He's going to say the political stuff he said about George Soros and the funded district attorneys and this and that. Yeah, we know George Soros and them is funding people and stuff like that. At least that's allegedly what people are saying. That George Soros and them, he's pumping in millions of billions of dollars all throughout the judicial system and to get district attorneys and this and that or whatever. But nonetheless, you know that the Republicans have a big problem on their hands right here. And they're not exactly sure how to tackle this. They're trying to McConnell and them, they're trying to treat this with kid gloves because they have to come out and publicly say they don't want to see. If you're a Republican, the last thing you want to see, whether you love them or hate them, is see a former Republican president be arrested. What does that say about the upcoming election? What does that say about the actual party stance at this point in time? If you have an actual former president, you've never seen a former president ever slapped with handcuffs, but this would be the first time ever. So how would that look for the entire party? It wouldn't look good at all, to say the least. DJ, what's going on, man? Can you hear me up in the can you hear my connection up in here? Because I know earlier it was some issues.
No, I hear you just fine. Everything good, bro. Everything's good. What's good? New Newstoter fam? How y'all doing tonight? Reparations up. Go ahead.
Let me ask you real quick. What's your opinion on this? Do you think that they're gonna actually slap some handcuffs on Donald?
I don't see how they can even possibly do that when it's, this is prostitution may be illegal in most states except Nevada. So the situation happened in Nevada. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what they should go with. Hey, it happened at Nevada at the Bunny Ranch. She got $130,000. There's nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if they were to arrest him, And yeah, I agree. Hey, look, you got a whole list of 44 other presidents that came before Trump. They could be arrested too. You know what I mean? And as far as the situation with Obama and them, these MAGA is threatening him. I don't really care about that because Obama told us to pull ourselves up by the bootstrap. So you got to hold this L, Obama. Whatever happens to you and yours, that's just what it is, bro. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody sticking up for y'all. When you ain't never stuck up for us, that's the way I look at it, personal opinion. You know? And as far as like the whole MAGA thing and shit, you know, the government could put that shit to an end whenever they feel like it. You know what I'm saying? They don't got to listen to these jokers that's down in the street. You know what I'm saying? They could send a National Guard, troops, military in there anytime they feel like it to break anything up. But as far as the January 6th thing, Trump didn't tell anybody to come fuck up the Capitol building. He just said, come down there and protest. Them white motherfuckers took it upon themselves to fuck that building up. You know what I'm saying? And the Ashley Babbitt or Bobbitt chick, some people say that was a false flag, her getting shot in the Capitol building. Some people say that shit is real. So it just depends how you really want to look at it. But as far as if they should arrest him or not, nah, that should have caused a civil war, bro. And I'll yield there.
Oh yeah, if they arrest him, like I said, they're already like giving out riot advice and stuff like that. They're kind of fearful of the actual people doing a riot right now. I mean, they're talking about in Mar-a-Lago. I think they was talking up in Manhattan. It was like 4 different places.
In Manhattan, they did that 2 days ago. Blocked off the courthouse with barricades and all that stuff. So whatever certain parts of New York and Manhattan you might be in, you can't go down 5th or 6th Avenue of Americas and shit. That shit blocked off. You can't even go near the Trump building and shit. That shit blocked off, bro.
Yeah, this is crazy right here, man. This is crazy. Like, if they do slap cuffs on him, like I'm gonna be in shock right here, just for the simple fact that I never thought I would ever actually see a president of the United States actually, get arrested or whatever. Even though I know he's not the president anymore, but too, if they do arrest him, then his chances, any chances he had of trying to come back up here and actually be president of the United States would pretty much be down the toilet. Like I can't see the American public, I can't just see the government, and we know how these elections, I just can't see them having somebody up here as president and they've been arrested, a year or so before the actual election begins on a prostitution type charge. I guess it's not even prostitution. I guess they're saying it's bribery and things of that nature as well. He bribed and lying on the oath and everything else. So I just, I would be shocked. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And then, back to the Obama situation, I think the reason why these MAGA folks got an issue with Obama is because a lot of the war crimes he did against people overseas. Other thing is, too, prior to Trump becoming the president, when he was running as a candidate, why was the White House, and not to say that any other former president didn't do this to a potential incoming president, or why was the Obama administration investigating Trump? You see what I'm saying? That actually came out prior to during Trump's and the candidacy of their presidential run or whatever. So they never actually gave an actual legitimate answer to the Obama administration while they were investigating Trump as a candidate. What evidence did you have on him back then in 2015, 2016 that you have Secret Service and FBI and all these other security entities investigating Trump? And it's to this day, there's been no answer from Obama, the Obama administration, Biden as a vice president then or the president now. Why was y'all investigating Trump as he was running for president? So it's like, I think these white folks still hold a grudge about that because no answer was ever really given. So that could be a legitimate reason to go ahead.
Real quick, let me go ahead and touch up on this article from Black Star News, curator on the Newstoter.com platform. I'm going to touch up on this real quick. This is it's titled Ron DeSantis, Republican leaders are praying for a Trump arrest. This is up in the Jumbotron as well, too. People saying that Ron DeSantis and the Republicans are hoping that they can get rid of the boogeyman in the party so they can go ahead and pretty much move on with their lives. I don't doubt that at all either. I really believe the GOP is split in half. I think a lot of people was pissed with Trump when those midterms came. They thought that they were going to go ahead and they were going to take a lot of seats. in the House and the Senate, and it just didn't work out the way that they had hoped for. And a lot of them blamed Trump, especially in the case of the Senate race in Georgia, where you had Warnock against Walker. People felt that, if Trump had not endorsed Walker to go ahead and run, that they could have put pretty much anybody in that position and won that Senate seat in Georgia, and that just Walker was a disaster. And even though he was a disaster, it was a close race, but they believe that they could have put anybody up, then they could have actually could have took that seat. Like I said, the title is Ron DeSantis, Republican leaders are praying for a Trump arrest. The rumors that Trump will be arrested, Trump reported this himself on Tuesday, for making hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels, must be music to the ears of Republicans like the governor of Florida. Like a hungry vulture circling a dying carcass, this is exactly what DeSantis has been wishing and waiting for. For months now, we've been hearing how DeSantis will be a strong challenger to Trump. However, it's always doubtful DeSantis would run if Trump was in the race. DeSantis needs the same backward MAGA Republican voters who support their great white hope hero, Trump. There will be no pathway to the presidency for DeSantis while Trump is still in the mix. But with the Trump indictment, the way would be more easily paid for DeSantis to become the new MAGA champion of Republican racism and white supremacist nationalism. More political commentary has been expounded on DeSantis' chances of being a Republican presidential nominee in 2024, but the media analysis has been interestingly absent to why DeSantis has not yet officially announced that he is running. Excuse me. Some weeks ago, Trump accused DeSantis of grooming high school girls with alcohol. Damn. Like, when he was a teacher. The weakness of DeSantis' response after Trump's accusation was quite telling. DeSantis stated, I spend my time delivering results for the people of Florida and fighting against Joe Biden. Trust me, you don't deliver any results for the people of Florida. That's how I spend my time. I don't spend my time trying to smear other Republicans. This was a curiously lame response for someone like DeSantis, who has been steady in his anti-black attacks and mudslinging of Democrats. We've heard what he said about CRT and all of his grandstanding comments about woke liberals, as well as his targeting of the voting rights of black Floridians. But DeSantis was a toothless tiger when Trump insinuated that he was a possible sexual predator. So why is DeSantis so afraid of Trump? Is it because, as his comments suggested above, that he is so concerned about the unity among the members of the Republican Party? Of course not. DeSantis is afraid of the same thing Republican leaders like Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy, and Lindsey Graham are afraid of, the Republican base. These party before country Republicans all know the rapid Republican faithful love Trump as a white God savior. This is why McConnell, McCarthy, and Graham all had to take the denunciations of Trump after the Capitol Hill coup attempt, when they realized Republican voters were not all upset about what happened on January 6th, when the MAGA white nationalist terrorists tried to take our country back through violence. DeSantis' weak words above illustrates that DeSantis understands he can't afford a war of words with Trump and still expect to be supported by the base. This is why DeSantis has been doing everything a presidential candidate does except an official announce that he is running. DeSantis and the Republican leaders are definitely praying on bended knees more than ever to have Trump indicted, who has a strong hold on the Republican voter base. Some of us were hoping for a long, bloody fight between Trump and DeSantis that would mortally wound both presidential candidates. Recently, Trump has been escalating his attacks on DeSantis, including by calling him Ron Sanctimonious. But DeSantis and Republican leaders had better not assume that if Trump is indicted Tuesday, that their problems with him are over. Trump is a political cancer that can't be cured quite so easily. After he announced that he expects to be arrested Tuesday, Trump called for protests. Translation, he expects the MAGA millions that he has weaponized as his own private army to engage in types of violence that we witnessed on January 6th. In response to Trump's attack of intimidation, Manhattan District Attorney Alan Bragg said, our law enforcement partners will ensure that any specific or credible threats against this office will be fully investigated and that the proper safeguards are in place so all 1,600 of us have a secure work environment. Republican leaders should anticipate that Trump will try to involve them in launching attacks against Bragg and authorities in New York. Any Republican who does not bend to Trump's demands will likely be denounced as rhino to the MAGA cult members. DeSantis may still find himself a target of attacks as Trump feels the heat of an indictment. While Republicans will be privately happy if Trump is indicted, for the fear of the base, GOP leaders will engage in posturing and will call this a political prosecution from the liberal deep state establishment. In fact, I was literally writing this news item as it popped up, reporting that DeSantis called a possible pending indictment a manufactured circus by the Soros DA. DeSantis also said, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know this. The Manhattan District Attorney is Soros funded prosecutor. Here we see DeSantis already sending signals to the Trump MAGA supporters. Most people, if indicted in a case like this, would give the matter at hand their undivided attention, but we all know Trump isn't most people. In fact, this indictment may cause Trump to lash out more than he ever has against Republican leaders. Moreover, Trump's lawyers will probably be able to drag this case out for an unforeseen period during which time Trump will be applying pressure to the Republicans to help him. Many who want to see Trump persecuted for a long time may be complicit if Trump is indicted on Tuesday. This would be a catastrophic mistake for several reasons, especially with DeSantis waiting in the wings, who is more acceptable to many anti-Trump Republicans. The Democratic Party should have already been creating a strategy for the possibility of a DeSantis candidacy. That DeSantis should now be fast-tracked even if Trump isn't indicted. Donald Trump has been the most criminal president the American Republic has ever seen. That is not true, in my opinion. Trump makes a joke out of the notion no one is above the law with the help of the so-called law and order GOP party. For the sake of America's future, Trump must be punished for his crimes so others will know that presidents will face consequences for criminal and treasonous conduct. But we must understand this. Regardless of what happens to Trump, Trump isn't going anywhere anytime soon. DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, DeSantis, he seemed like one of those type of people that's trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, or the phrase of the quote? Just trying to be a goody two shoe, I guess that would be the word. Back to the Black Studies or the AP courses. So a lot of that stuff, unfortunately, we're gonna have to side with DeSantis because a lot of them AP courses they were trying to enact inside of the Black Studies, the Black African American Studies, was all about LGBTQ and transism and all this other stuff. When you really dive into it, so him excommunicating that part out of AP, he might have actually been doing us a favor. But you all right, I think he is hoping that Trump get out of the way so that way he could just run because he's looking like the princess of the GOP right now. You know what I'm saying? On that note. But other than that, we can't vote for none of these Mickey figures. I don't care if it's Democrat, DNC, whatever the case be. Or even independent, because they don't got our best interests at heart either. Including, which is all the Tea parties and all these little libertarian parties and all this other stuff. We just need to start our own Black American party. It was something I was going to say on Trump, too. Okay, so, everybody's saying, the main stuff that you hear from people out on the streets surrounding Trump, right? Hopefully y'all can hear me on the phone with Trump. The main stuff that you hear on the street every day from Black Americans specifically, I'm just keeping on us. I ain't worried about the MAGA or the white folks. Us specifically. Oh, we got to get Trump out of office. This, that, and the third. This motherfucker ain't ish. This, that, and the third. But yeah, Jim Crow Joe Jangles got a 50-year political career history of incarcerating our people. Let's start there. And then if you go back to the whole time Trump was president, oh yeah, got to deal with the MAGA crowd and all this other stuff. But hey, what about these regular national issues that Black people love to equate with the Democratic Party? Oh, inflation is high and all this other stuff. The Republicans got the inflation high. They raising taxes and all. Jim Crow Joe did all that the moment he got in office. You feel what I'm saying? Inflation high as hell. Gas is over $3 a gallon. A carton of eggs, 12 dozen eggs. You know what I'm saying? $7. Like when did that happen under Trump's presidency? Never. So we can sit up here and say, hey, look, Trump is this, that, and the third. But hey, gas was $2 a gallon. We wasn't at war. He had this shit under control, man. As far as what we see, as far as what we could tell, and just to top it off. And I'm not siding with Trump. I ain't no MAGA nothing. I'm just spitting facts. He never wrote no law against us, yo. That we see so far. Does anybody out here know that a legislation or some type of bill, some type of amendment that Trump signed that is pretty much targeting and going against us versus Jim Crow Joe. He letting all these illegals across the border. He giving them money. He giving them EBT. He giving them a place to live. He giving them everything and everything they ever want, aka the American dream, while us Negroes still sit at the bottom, fourth-class citizen. Dr. Anderson was right. Prophesized it. They not coming here to be your friend. They're coming for resources and above. So at the end of the day, I don't even think you can even blame Trump for that because he's the one who wrote Title 42 and signed it. Keep your ass in your country. You know what I'm saying? Don't come over here with the, considering we're in a COVID state too. Don't even come over here. I don't even want you over here regardless of COVID. See what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, who are we really pointing the finger at? Is it Trump and MAGA because he slept with some whore? You know what I'm saying? Niggas do that every day. I got family, man. They the trick masters out here. I got some cuz, they love tricking, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do for a living and shit. So how you gonna be mad at this man because he did the same shit? You know what I'm saying? And then he obviously beat it for free and then turn around and have to pay the broad because she was gonna snitch on him saying that, you slept with me while you was married and running for the presidency. But Clinton got his wee-wee sucked, you know what I'm saying, by Monica Lewinsky. They tried to throw him under the bus, but it didn't happen. So now y'all trying to do the same thing to Clinton. So I guess this is the Democrats' payback for what they did to Clinton back in the 90s and shit, you know what I mean, to the GOP. So it's a bunch of ways and talking points we can wrap this shit up. But at the end of the day, I don't care if Trump do go to jail, don't go to jail. All I care about is he really didn't seem like he was against us, but nor was he for us either, and he didn't have to be because we're not his voting bloc. Now, did. What's up, Leon?
Yeah, pretty good point of view on that one there. He didn't sign any major destructive legislation against black folks as well, but like you say, he didn't do anything for black folks either. So I mean, I look at it that way as well too. But I feel you what you're saying that he didn't, unlike Joe Biden, who's been the author of numerous crime bills and stuff like that. He didn't do that, and Joe Biden is a segregationist and this and that. So, like I said, to me, the whole thing about the actual paying the woman for the sex or whatever, is that really enough to indict somebody? I guess you could say that, he lied under oath or whatever. He perjured himself. That's the only thing that I could think of that you could charge him with. But is it?
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
One more thing about that too.
Go ahead.
So, why is it that the Stormy Daniels broad is not being charged? You accepted money for prostitution, but you'll have the United States government use her as a pawn to go against Trump to get him out of the way. So they pretty much giving her some type of asylum, you know what I'm saying? Some type of leniency for being a hood rat, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think
$30,000 from Trump. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's like this, DJ, though, but I think that he didn't pay her to have sex with her, but once they had sex, like you say, it was free. They had sex for free, but after they had sex, to go ahead and keep her quiet, he gave her some hush money. So I don't know if taking the hush money, you could say that she like, hey, yeah, we did our thing here. I'm trying to run for president. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you off with this $130,000. Don't say anything like that. So it's not like he gave her $130,000 to sleep with her. So I don't like. I just like. That's the only reason I think that you couldn't charge her for prostitution or anything.
Right. So let me say this one last thing. So I understand like Trump didn't do anything for us legislatively, but again, black people, we always love to talk these national issues when we say, hey, look, what's most important to black Americans? Economics, healthcare, security, owning a home, job employment, business, whatever, right? Wasn't Trump doing that? Because I think we can all raise our hand. I will keep my hand raised, you know what I'm saying, as a testament to this shit. I had more money saved up under Trump than I did fucking Joe Biden. Or
that's
Obama.
facts.
You know what I'm saying? I had more money coming in and I didn't have a job, bro. You feel what I'm saying? You feel me? I'm a gig worker. I've been that my whole life. So when the COVID hit, ain't no clubs open, ain't no theaters open, ain't no lounges open. I can't play no music nowhere except in my fucking house. You feel what I'm saying? And this whole digital shit, I don't care about none of this. I spent the last decade of my life selling physical media. So why would I care about, because we're locked down in the house and nothing to do, to come up here on this digital shit? So when, again, Trump was in office, gas was low, wasn't no inflation on food, clothes, eggs. Okay, we had the tariffs thing, but I'm not mad about that either, because he's trying to bring manufacturing back to America. Now you look at Jim Crow Joe Jangles, and the continuation of us pretty much beefing with China. You know what I'm saying? And we already know the government sent them jobs overseas to school over black people working in Detroit, working in the steel mills, in Detroit in the automotive sector, the steel mills in Pittsburgh, the refineries of the bricks over here in New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? The old cotton mill processing plants, you can trace this shit back. So at the end of the day, now y'all got a problem with China. You want to try to ship the manufacturing back over here, but you're not even fully bringing it back into the country, America, USA. You're trying to leave it down in Mexico or Canada or ship it to India or ship it to all these other places just so black people don't get a leg up. Other thing is, too, we got to look at, let's go back to the immigration of right now. Again, Title 42, stay your ass in Mexico, stay your ass in house. Trump was shitting on everybody as far as immigrant-wise. He didn't care if he was black or fucking white. You know what I'm saying? Stay your ass home. Don't come over here. We don't even want you over here. You know what I mean? Other thing is, too, so again, back to the national issues. We had everything I think we needed under Trump as far as, seeing the American dream somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm able to go to work, go to school, make money. I can save money now. There's more money coming in. Things are cheaper. You know what I'm saying? Shit, in order for me to get an apartment right now, I'm looking at $2,000 a month. I can't afford that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that under Trump. I was still able to find an apartment that's under $1,000, something within my budget. Now this shit is completely out of my budget. I can't afford to live even in a place I was born and raised in, bro. It's over with, all because of Jim Crow Joe James letting all these people in. So now, we can run it back to the New York shit. Eric Adams, the mayor, who's a fucking coon. You know what I'm saying? You saying that, we don't have the type of funds to support these immigrants. But you just said months before, hey, we welcome all immigrants. So now all of a sudden you can't afford it. So is it that you saying that to get more money out of the federal government, meaning taxpayer dollars? You know what I'm saying? Or is it you just saying that to make it seem like it's really a dire situation when it's really not? Because all you got to do, and I don't understand why Governor Abbott didn't do the same thing. So this is how we know these fools play both sides of the fence. Why didn't you just do these fools a 180 and send them back across the border, yo? So GOP playing games, DNC playing games, news media is corrupt. I yield it.
Yeah, you kind of was going in on that one, DJ. So definitely. I see some of our people up in the spot. Ray, I sent you a speaker. I know you've been having some issues with the co-host. So if you want to come up and speak or just chill in the speaker spot or whatever, just go ahead and request to come on up here. Well, we can put you in the co-host. It don't matter. So see Black Pressure up in here as well too. Black Lioness, OG, New Me. I see a bunch of y'all up in here. Goddess. So what's up? Shout out to you guys. Of course, we're discussing this thing. I told y'all last night we was going to talk about this whole thing with Trump going on. Trump ain't been arrested yet, but Trump went out his way to go ahead and try to signal alarms to his people up there, his MAGA supporters as well, to like, hey, if they come and get me, y'all be ready. Like that's what he was saying in so many different words. It was like back in the day when my uncle and them, they went to a Rick James concert in the early 80s, and Rick was on stage and he was burning nothing but weed up there. And the boys came up there, the police came up there to arrest him. Rick James told him, like, y'all ain't gonna let them get me, are you? Everybody in the crowd like, hell no, Rick, we ain't gonna let them get you. Cops went ahead and they just chilled and laid back a little bit, like, oh, we don't want that drama right here. That's kind of what Trump trying to do right now. I mean, Trump, give him credit. Trump don't care about signaling this goon, so I will give him that credit right there. Like Trump don't give a damn. He'll signal his goons in a heartbeat. So Black Pressure, I saw you try to come up here, man. I don't know. You may have an issue with your phone as well, too, man. So we've been having some issues. If you can, try to come back up here. But a lot of our Android users, they having some major issues, man. So we had to go ahead and download and we had to uninstall the Twitter app and put in the APK, man. So it's just been some issues with this Android thing. Twitter's got a big time glitch in the actual Google Play Store as well, too. So yeah, we had to go and get creative to find a way to get up on here as well, too. Shout out to our girl Rella over there chilling on in YouTube world. So we got my girl Rella over there in YouTube. And let me read a comment real quick. Rella wrote, she's like, wow, the Senators just want Trump out the way. Yeah, they definitely want him out the way. Can you blame him? Like, you get Trump up out the way, that makes your path to the White House a whole lot easier. Who gonna stop you? Mr. Magoo, Joe Biden? I mean, come on. So you go ahead and you get Trump out the way. Mr. Magoo, the Democrats trying to get Joe Biden out the way as much as possible too. They hoping that Joe go ahead and sit down. Joe being stubborn, hard headed as possible. He gonna stay up there as long as he can, but it's time for him to go ahead and step down. Rella says DeSantis doesn't like Trump supporters. He might not like Trump supporters, Rella, but if he wants to get up in that White House, he ain't got no choice but to kiss their behinds too. He got to go ahead and placate to the actual GOP, the Magna base as well too. So then she says, I guess that Epstein Island list was true. Like, yeah, I think it was. You had a bunch of big time entertainers on there. You had a bunch of major dignitaries on there, heads of state. So that Epstein list was no joke whatsoever there, sister. Real quick, let me give a shout out to everybody up in the space. I see my dog LA Rob up in here too, socials up in here. So I'm giving a shout out to all you guys, Nigel, OG, Infinite, Q, all of y'all up in here. Appreciate you guys. Please go ahead and do us a favor and tweet this space out as well, too, guys. Go ahead and tweet the space out. Let your followers see what's going on, how it's happening up in here. We giving you this insight. Everybody's coming up in here. DJ just dropped the jewel on us, talking about the actual what Trump has done and what he hasn't done in his presidency, as well as compared to what Joe Biden and the impact of Joe Biden not doing anything in terms of being the president as well too. And you can make an argument that when Joe Biden was vice president, the administration that he was under didn't do a whole hell of a lot for black folks as well either. So we just going in, y'all. Anybody that wants to come up here and speak as well, our speakers, they getting it off, but we definitely want to hear some of our people up in here as well too. I know for those that hadn't had any issues with the phone, please try to get up here. I wish Black Pressure could get up here because it's been a minute since we heard our man Black Pressure. So also, guys, up in the Jumbotron, you will find a newsletter as well as a YouTube channel. It seems like each podcast we get like maybe 1 or 2 new subscribers. So if it's going to be that slow pace, that's fine too. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need that. We're trying to get it up a little over 600 subscribers. We're trying to get that thing to 1,000. We need to get up to 1,000 so we can go ahead and start gaining more traction. So continue to go ahead and support us on YouTube. Subscribe to the newsletter. Also, if you can, support us on Cash App. That's $ Newstoter. Once again, let me say that $ Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned media news curation platform today in America. Once again, that is $ Newstoter. $ Newstoter. If you don't have Cash App, we have the PayPal and Venmo up in the Jumbotron as well too. So once again, that is $ Newstoter. Mr. Leon, what's going on tonight? How you doing? Go ahead and unmute your mic, and I'm gonna get to Mr. Engaging. DJ, I know you had your hand back up. Let's get it to you as well after that, and let's get some of our other people up here as well too.
What's going on, Newstoter? How you doing? DJ, welcome back, my brother. See Mr. Engagement, Riri, A-Bud, Black Idaho, Ray, Original, LA Rob. What's going on, brother? We got Neom. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry. Just a quick PSA. Android users, there is an update. There was a Twitter update today. You can update it, and you can get the mic does work because I just re-updated it to the latest and greatest update, so it does work. So if you had the opportunity to do that, go ahead and try it. Like Newstoter said, try it. If the Play Store don't work, then try this other. Try a different place like APK. But I think wherever the APK is, I think they have an update for it. You'll see it. I think it's 9. I know I'm gonna be a geek on this one. Look for 9.81. 9.80 was the last one that was doing all the glitching. I think the new one is build number is 9.81. That's the very newest one that did updated today. So I'm just gonna let y'all know on that. Now to the top. DJ pretty much dropped all the jewels on us, so I'm not gonna say too much because everything he pretty much said was straight to the point, and I agree 100%. There is no road for DeSantis with Trump in the way. As long as Trump don't go to jail, Trump's in there. Period. We all tired of Jim Code Joe. It ain't happening. Now, here's another spin I like to put out there. Say if Jim Code Joe decides that he cannot run, who will run in his place? My pick would be, I know everybody's laughing now, my my pick on who will run in his place would be Gavin Newsom.
You took the words right out my mouth.
Governor of California. But there's one thing. It's like, well, two things. There's two things holding him back from making that run. One is Jim Crow Joe. Two, he's going to have to pass that reparation in California. If he don't pass that reparation in California, he ain't going to make it. I'm telling you that right now. And I'll land there.
Okay, Leon, that was quick and fast right there this time. So let me give a shout out to my man A Boogie. A Boogie, thank you for your contribution on Cash App as well too. We want to get some of our old time listeners up in here, y'all. I know if you've been having some issues with the speaking or whatever, I can understand that as well too. But we definitely want to get some opinions. We want to hear some of our sisters what their opinion is of this whole thing going on with Trump and do you actually believe that Trump is actually going to be arrested? Is this just for political theater right here? I mean, exactly what's going on? Like, I mean, like I say, out of all the things that you could arrest Trump for, I mean, I'm sure there's probably hundreds of things that he could be arrested for. Are we really seriously going to arrest him on this right here? I mean, like DJ say, like we all old enough. I was in high school. DJ, I know you was in high school when the whole Monica Lewinsky thing, my man was receiving noggin up there. Clinton was up in the actual White House. They were trying to impeach him. Yeah, they was gonna impeach your boy for receiving some smoke up there in the White House, and everybody knew that wasn't gonna go through. Like, come on, man. Like, are you seriously out of all these presidents that have affairs and stuff like that? Got goddamn Thomas Jefferson, got all kind of black kids out there in the world, and please, I mean, come on, man. Like, really, are we really doing this? You got presidents ordering damn people in third world countries to be slaughtered, dropping bombs on them left and right, doing oil raids and just straight up just checking people for dollars and everything else. Out of all the stuff you're going to seriously arrest somebody for, is this what we're really going to spend taxpayer dollars on? Because when you get down to it, we're spending taxpayer dollars on this nonsense right here. It's like you got two political parties trying to fight each other, mudslinging, trying to do all they can to go ahead and go. You got the Hunter Biden situation going on. The Democrats, okay, so y'all want to go after Joe Biden, son? Well, then we're going to go after you on this right here. Just back and forth, constant, all this nonsense right here, like stuff that don't even really matter. Meanwhile, we sitting up here pouring in tens of billions of dollars into Ukraine and still going to pay Ukraine even more money. Like, really, man, what's going on here? Like I say, so if we can get some of our people to come up here, if y'all get a chance, please come on up here and just enlighten us, share your point of view. We definitely want to hear from you guys as well, too. Mr. Engaging, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, for those that got the Android, the Galaxy Store also will hold it down, too, as well. That's what I'm on my tablet, man, because my phone game, they ain't allowing the brother. That's the reason why I ain't popped up in a minute, because I was just getting so agitated with that app situation. So I just want to let people know you got two ways to get on the mic. So you got two ways to get on the mic.
And thank you, Mr. Engaging. Like, yeah, everybody was getting frustrated with that thing as well, too, man. It just, you couldn't get up on here, and when you got up on here, people just instantly getting knocked down. So definitely we definitely feel everybody's frustration on that, because the spaces just have not been the same since we've been having all of this going on. So I see my man Professor, see if we can get Professor up here, because I definitely want to hear Professor got something that he wants to add as well too. Professor, what's going on tonight, man? I see you just hopped up into space. What's going on with you?
Sure, nothing much, man. Glad to see the family up in here. And what all y'all think about the Trump? I know that's what everybody's talking about.
Oh, you know that. We talking about your favorite ex-president tonight, man.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was about to vote for this guy. This time around, I was gonna vote for him. And you, well, family, you know why? Because to me, right now, he might be our best. Well, hell, yeah, he is. He's the best candidate that Black America needs right now. I mean, if you really think about it.
Professor, do you really think they're gonna actually slap the cuffs on Trump? Do you think this is just a distraction to keep us away from more serious issues? Like, you know, the media and the politicians get together and they start scheming and plotting and they come up with ideas and just it's like they have their own think tank. Like, okay, how can we go ahead and distract the American public this time off of what we're really doing right here? Oh, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll arrest Donald Trump, or we'll say that he's going to get arrested. Because I mean, we've never seen a U.S. president, past or former or present president, ever been arrested for anything. We've never seen a president actually impeached. When they was going to impeach Nixon, he resigned. We've never seen a president impeached. We've never seen one arrested. So, I mean, is this thing real? Is this just a distraction that they came up with? They said, well, hey, we got to go ahead and we got to go ahead and get their minds off of this right here and put it on something else.
I definitely think it's a distraction. I just don't see them really doing this. With everything that they've been talking about over the years with him, we haven't seen them move on anything. And that's probably many things they could have maybe got him on. I haven't seen where they even tried to get him on any of this stuff. I think it's a distraction. Then again, it might just be something where they just trying to keep him out of the race, the 2024 election. I think that's what it comes down to, because I think he is right now the best candidate, I say, for us, Black America, because, what have we been talking about in these spaces, everybody? Closing the borders. And what was Trump all about? Closing the borders. So therefore, that's who we need to be going for. So I think they're going to try to do what they can to keep him out of the 2024 election. Because y'all, these folks been listening to us on this app. They come up in these spaces to listen to everything that we've been saying. And one of the things that we've been talking about is the fact that we are going to vote for Trump. I think a good many of us have said this, and I think these folks are trying to find a way to take him out of the election so he cannot be a threat to the other candidates.
I'm with you on that. I believe strongly they want to go ahead, but like I say, Professor, I also believe his own party wants him out the way as well too. His party wants to get him up out the way. They don't want him up in there. Like I think I think the GOP is split in half right now. Half of them want him in there, and the other half of them don't want him up in there as well too. So I think they are just really split. They want to go ahead and get rid of him as much as possible. The Democrats don't want to see it. They know they want a nail biter against him the last time, so they ain't trying to have it. But I think either way, the Democrats are up against it, because even though I can't stand this dude being here in Florida, DeSantis is going to be a huge problem for the Democrats as well too, because he's a younger wannabe Trump. Much of Trump's talking points he's already stole, and he's trying to rebrand it himself as well too. So they got an issue on their hand either way. If Trump is such a maniac that if he really thought about it, him and DeSantis, if they actually formed a ticket together, they would go ahead and take this, and they would probably win. I mean, in an easy fashion, but I don't think you can get Trump to go ahead. Trump is already going in on DeSantis. Like I said, DeSantis is pretty much ignoring it. Like he's firing shots at DeSantis. And I think DeSantis did say something today, like, kind of coded language or whatever, where he took a shot back. But one thing about Trump, it ain't nothing coded with him. Trump, he's letting you know exactly who he's talking about. Like, sometimes you heard some of the rappers and stuff, like Biggie was good at subliminally dissing people and stuff like that, whereas Tupac just went ahead and just put your name all over the track. And that's kind of how Trump is. Like Trump, there's no subliminal distance right here. I'm going to call your name out. Your boy sitting up here talking about when DeSantis was a teacher, he was basically grooming girls and getting them drunk and stuff like that. Like, yo, what the hell are you talking about here, bro? Like, you really, and DeSantis is like, he gonna turn the other cheek. Now he's been going in on the black people here in Florida and the woke and this and that and all the other stuff, but now you can't say anything when this man's going in on you. So yeah, I'm to the point where I really think, I'm wondering if this is just not something staged right here to go ahead. We see his reparations are really picking up in this country, and this thing is becoming a national, and it's becoming global as well too, that they like, hey, let's go ahead and kind of put a dampen on this. we'll go back and we'll talk about. You can't talk about the COVID anymore because that's kind of run its course. Ukraine, people are kind of tired of talking about Ukraine as well too, because even DeSantis himself said that, hey, basically, I guess there's no guarantee that we're going to constantly keep supporting Ukraine. So you got to find a new line. You got to find a new subject matter to go ahead and go in on. So very interesting to see how this thing plays out right here. Because like I say, and Nap, I saw you said that Clinton and you say Clinton and Trump were both impeached twice. I know Clinton was impeached one time about the Monica Lewinsky thing, but I don't remember a second time. But by impeach, yeah, bringing charges up is one thing, but I'm saying that no president, United States president that I can remember was ever convicted after being impeached. Like, it's one thing that you say, well, we're going to bring up charges to have you impeached. It's another that those charges lead to an actual guilty conviction as well, too. So that's what I'm talking about. But like I say, I can only think of Clinton being impeached for one time, and that was on the Monica Lewinsky thing. Now, if I'm wrong in here, somebody correct me, but I only remember the actual Monica Lewinsky incident back in 96, 97 or whatever, when he was actually impeached. So like I said, if I'm actually wrong about that, anybody correct me. Hey, Boogie, I see you up in the spot as well, too. Did you want to go ahead and get something in there?
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to the family. Shout out to the room. Thank you for holding the space, bro. Man, fucking Trump, man. Oh, man. So I think the whole thing is just a distraction, like everybody else said. But the thing that I kind of wanted to say about Trump is kind of like, okay, so when Trump got elected, I wasn't in the country. So, everybody outside of the country was kind of looking at Americans like, damn, like, what's going on with Trump? How did America let this happen? But, and I felt that same way. But, with certain things that he did, it was kind of like he was setting both parties up, right? And that's the way I kind of looked at things, like with this whole like immigration thing. Like when he was in the presidency, he did something where, like, if your child was born out of the country, like it was like a major thing for the military, I guess. And it seems like all the things that he did that people were complaining about, it's like all the bad things that Biden is being caught for, So, man, that dude is like an evil genius, man. He's been on this earth and dealing with these people for so long. He's been in New York, he survived all the mafia stuff. So I think that guy, man, he's just really intelligent. He got a lot of people. He's probably not even the smartest person, but he got a lot of smart people around him. And he does, he got the people that do his fall work, man. That dude know exactly what's going on, man. I think he just destroyed both parties, man, by some of the things that he did. And they can't hide it, like things that he said when he was saying about, Africa, and then he said something about the cities, he took digs,
whole countries.
Yeah, he called them shithole countries, and then
shout out the burner boy.
Yeah.
In the house.
Yeah, and then he said kind of like dog whistle things, but when I looked at him, I was like, well, I mean, he's not really lying about nothing, like he sitting on Baltimore, and I was like, man, you know what? I mean, Baltimore, like that's us, but at the same time, though, it's not. I mean, if you've been to Baltimore, I mean, it's not a bad city, but they just let it run down, So, like, kind of when he was in the presidency, I kind of like took the emotion out of everything, and I kind of looked at things from both sides, and I was able to see, like a clear picture. And I was saying this to my buddy when I was overseas, like, man, right, this dude is like tearing everything apart, man. And maybe I'm crazy, and maybe I just look at things differently. But now it come full circle, and it's just like his kids is jacked up, he getting caught with Biden getting caught for all the same things that he's doing, and it's just like, man, I think he kind of already knew what they playbook, So I mean, that's all I really got to say about it. But man, I think all this stuff is just kind of crazy and just a distraction. I heard some spaces yesterday. They was talking about they was gonna send it up to white people and all that, but ain't nobody really worried about that. Y'all gonna send it up. Y'all really just warring against each other, and that's really all what's going on. Either here or overseas, they just warring against each other, and I think he kind of just exposed everything, so for what it was. So, I mean, I ain't never voted for nobody, but at the same time, though, if his ass run, even though I don't really like choosing the lesser evil, I might just have to do it just because I don't like Biden ass, and I'm tired of our people voting for damn Democrats. So, man, that's all I really got, man. It's just been a crazy time, man. But I mean, I just think the people that I've met on this app, you know what I'm saying, that kind of gave me the enlightenment, you know what I'm saying? They gave me a little bit more political knowledge, So, yeah, man, it's just a crazy ride. And, yeah, man, I'm here with y'all, man. We just gonna see how it playing out. But I ain't really jacking for no Democrats right now.
Real talk, Boogie, and I'm with you like this. I'll give Trump credit. Trump, he did surround himself with a lot of people and stuff like that. He has a good team around him, and I guess too, being brought up in the money and stuff like that, and seeing his father, he knows how to delegate. He knows how to hire people. He knows how to get those people that's going to look after his best interests at heart as well too. So you have to go ahead and tip your cap to him on that right there as well too. To me, how this keeps popping up with him and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, whether they go from talking about his tax returns and now they're talking about, to this thing here about.
I think he knows how to be a criminal.
Yeah.
And beat the system, because he said it when he was running for presidency. When he said something about the taxes, he was like, y'all created these tax laws. I'm just taking advantage of them, So, certain things like that, and then also with his upbringing, I think, being a rich kid and seeing his father, how he did business moves, and also seeing how the Italian mafia, how they came up and how they fell and all these other things. So I think that plays a role in his knowledge and the things that he knows about the system. And also, just having those people around him. He had those fall guys, Michael Flynn and all these other people that
Michael Cohen, yeah, all of them.
Yeah, so he had people that were willing to ride and take those charges because they knew that it was probably gonna be a short bid, 2 or 3 years. That's nothing when you're trying to, I guess, dismantle a corrupt system. I can do 2 or 3 years, if I'm gonna, liberate my people. You know what I'm saying? So, not saying that he's talking about liberating us, but
well, you can definitely, Boogie, you could definitely do 2-3 years if you're gonna be going to one of these country club type little facilities, and somebody may leave 7-8 figures in your bank account once you get out of there as well, too.
Big facts.
So yeah, you got people, you getting broke off a little something because Michael Cohen, he already served his time. So hey, you go ahead and you're gonna put me. It's not like you're going to some maximum security prison. You're going in here for a little white collar crime or whatever. You're gonna serve 2 years, and you got we talking about people that know about all of these secret bank accounts and these Swiss accounts and everything else like that. You get up out of here, and you got $2, $3, $4, $5 million waiting on you. Because what is $2, $3, $4, $5 million to any of these people up here? So yeah, people will go ahead and they'll go ahead and serve that time and take that time up as well too. So most definitely. DJ, go ahead and unmute your mic. I see Dr. Deborah. Dr. Deborah, it's been a while since you've been up in the space, sister. How you doing? I'm glad to see you up in here as well too. So I definitely miss having you up in the space as well too. Go ahead, DJ.
I was just gonna say, getting the jumbotron top left hand side. I guess brother Black Pressure wanted to post that up in there. So yeah, that's all facts. And Eric Holder's an immigrant too, by the way. So let's go.
All right, I see my man Nap up in here as well. Nap, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hey, shout out to you, Newstoter. Shout out DJ, Professor.
What's up?
Good to see you guys. Hear from you brothers, of course. Hey, Just
What up, man?
just little information. What I posted regarding Trump and Clinton. Clinton was impeached once, and remember, you're impeached by the House of Representatives. It goes to the Senate if you're successfully impeached by a majority of the House of Reps. It goes to the Senate, and the Senate votes for removal from office. And Clinton survived that. Remember, at that time, the Democrats had a Democratic majority. Trump, of course, was impeached twice. But remember, conviction rate is 67 senators. You need 2/3 majority to vote to convict to remove you from office. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. My man, Professor, dude, you're one of my favorites in spaces. I just want to get clarification why you are considering Trump. Just a little history. Just a little history. Remember, back in the 70s, he and his daddy would not let black people live in some apartments that they were selling. Apparently, his father had built and they were selling. He has called African countries shitholes, countries, total disrespect. He was in Chicago at one time, driving through neighborhoods in Chicago, and like so many others, we operate under a white supremacist system. I don't expect much from white folks. But he was running around talking about how could blacks live in these conditions, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Conditions people like him help a nabble, for one thing, and they're part of the reason. And they, the weird thing about white folks is they don't seem to, they just don't see black people who are middle class. Sure, a lot of our people are struggling, and we're so resilient. We hang in there. But a lot of us live in the 100 to 150K range, making money, and we do all right. And that, it just upsets me when we don't acknowledge that. We are in such weird times, folks. In 1865, I have to say this. I said this in another space yesterday, but I'm just emphasizing this. We were emancipated. Black people have never been liberated in this country. All right? After we had, for 12 years of 1865 to 1877, roughly, we had Reconstruction. That was shut down when Andrew Johnson became president. He shut down all that. We've lived with 80 to 100 years of Jim Crow. We lived with bombings in the 1950s when we tried to stand up. No one helping us. It was black people saying we had enough. And it's important to realize that since the 1870s or whatever, we have always fought back. There have always been some resistance from black people. We haven't taken anything. We have not taken anything just laying down. They have, when we have tried to be successful, just minding our own business, Wilmington, Delaware, Newstoter, you talked about Eatonville, and thank you to Davy yesterday for providing all that information. That was another, area in America. Elyria, Arkansas, not just Tulsa. There were many other areas that we'll find out about if we go back and read books. I have a book right now that I'm going to recommend at some point. But anyway, we have endured so much. Even when we are minding our own damn business, we cannot do that. And I mean that's to this day. We've never been totally liberated. I hate to say this, as a God-fearing person, but just way too many white folks are hardwired to not see us as equal or as fair. We have to accept that. Our only solution, we want reparations. I'll fight for reparations, but that's not going to end racism and discrimination. We're going to have to do well with the money we get. Let's first get the money, then the land, then the education for our children. This was so much. Newstoter, again, thank you for providing this platform, brother. We need you to blow up. Please, you guys support. I try and support as often as I can because this is important. We have to develop our own media. We have to tell our own stories. We have to break our own stories, because these are really precarious times. And my brother, Professor Trump, is not the guy. He's been a swindler ever since. The dude ain't never worked hard for anything. Basically, his daddy paid his way through college. He's not the guy. He's not that hard-working guy. He's never going to care. You would have thought when he was elected in 2016, I give him credit for that because that was against all odds. Hillary Clinton, even though I did vote for her, was not a great candidate. I knew months before that there was a real possibility that she would lose. She didn't work hard enough. She's seen her day. But that's white supremacy, too. It's all of this white supremacy that, we talk about we're going to do this or that. Donald Trump, if elected again, ain't gonna do a damn thing for us. He had a chance to redeem himself as a person when he became president. He didn't respect the office. He didn't respect the breadth of the job. He cares about no goddamn body but himself and other people's fealty to him. Throughout his presidency, you saw people like Mike Pence and on down. You mentioned some of them fleeing all the way down. They've been, pretty much loyalty and complete fealty to him. And he threw them all under the bus. He was ready to throw Mike Pence. He didn't care if Mike Pence died on January 6, 2021. And here that idiot Mike Pence is now, still can't pull himself to really go against them. And see, that's the thing about white supremacy, y'all. If these were black people, we would not be afforded anywhere the benefit of the doubt that they get. They can sit there and be weak as hell, show nothing but total cowardice, and still have the audacity to try to delete someone out of a paper bag. And that's crazy. But you know what? That's what white supremacy is. The poorest white person will look at those guys and just dismiss all that because they're white. Maybe, that's what they see in them, even though they have nothing like the privilege that those folks have and never will. They'll still vote for them over the most personable, the most prepared African American or black person. That's what we live against. But I want to say again, shout out to Newstoter, to DJ, my man Leon, my man Professor. Where you at, Original? Need you here, brother. I'm gonna land there, you guys. Please support black businesses and foundations. Our real strength will be in our power to build ourselves, and we don't need to wait for no damn reparations for that. Everybody got $20, $30, a month in your pocket, to give to United Negro College Fund, your favorite black HBCU. Let's do this, y'all. Let's think about ourselves. Let's show our pride. Let's show our muscle. We ain't got to talk about it with everybody. Let's just get the people that are concerned to get on this bandwagon. Hey, man, love my people. Love y'all. I'm going to land.
All right, thank you, Nap. Nap, before you go real quick, I want to ask you a question here because I agree wholeheartedly with you when we're talking about Donald Trump. I remember being a young kid in the early 90s, and I used to talk about him. My dad, he never could stand him. He always thought that he was a spoiled brat. He always thought the whole idea that he was a self-made millionaire was just complete BS. He always talked about how it was his daddy that put him in the position, how it was his daddy that bailed him out. I can remember being in elementary school, and I remember that time that his dad had to actually put him on an allowance because he had went bankrupt once again. So I definitely feel you on that, and we've heard about the actual racism he's had in his places when it came to treating black tenants and everything like that as well too. But let me ask you one quick question, okay? Because when the last election came in 2020, I didn't vote for him or Biden. I didn't. I left the ballot open. I did not vote for either one of them. I couldn't bring myself to vote for Joe Biden after all of the years of his anti-racism against black people, and I couldn't vote for Donald Trump as well too. Mind you, I did vote for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So I'll just go ahead and say that, but I couldn't vote for him. But Professor was saying that he may or he may not vote for he may vote for Donald Trump. But my thing is this right here. Should do you think that somebody should actually vote for Joe Biden? Because that out of those two choices there, would you vote for Joe Biden or would you vote for Donald Trump? Just in your personal opinion.
Right. I did vote for Joe Biden in 2020. That's fine. That's fine, DJ. Have happy. I didn't like where Donald Trump was leading us. Okay. All right. Because I've already explained how he was. How a man, it's just white privilege that he even got in the office. Them damn white women, 55% voted for him. Y'all know how he mistreated. They still voted for him. I was telling my lady that, these white women just going to do what their husbands do. F what they say to you. They're going to go in there and do what their husbands do. Sure enough, they voted for him over 50% the last time. I have no love for Biden. I think he's ridiculous. He's definitely past his time. I don't really want to comment on how he's done because it's just business as usual. The main thing for me, the main arc, and I am where so many of us are tired of now. We have been so great to the Democrats for going back to Johnson Kennedy days, 50, 60 years ago, right? President Johnson, who in my opinion is the best president for Black people, Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act, 65, a lot of other things he did too, but that's ancient history. Now the political game is horrible because it's totally all about the money now. And I have to say this though, you guys, we do have to have people on the inside of politics. But we need the right people on the inside of politics, the people that are speaking up for us Black people who have had enough, who have worked hard every day. Now, to this point, we've done so much to build this country. It's time for us to be recognized. And I'm not going to talk about all the other immigrants who got what they want. It's time for us, for these white folks, these politicians, to hear us, okay? They're getting worse at it on the Republican side. It's just straight out anarchy. They don't like us over there. I wouldn't be surprised if they Republicans / Confederate Party, because that's what they seem to be going back to. So open with their racism and their fear of Black people. It's just really troubling times, man. We have to stick together, but most of all, we have to come together, each other, and strategize, which we are doing here in measures. In 2024, I'm not voting. If it's Biden Trump, I'm not voting for either one. I don't know about Harris. If we don't talk much about Kamala, but I don't know how you guys, Kamala, I don't know how you guys feel about her. She doesn't appear to be leadership ready for me at this point. That's just the point. But I don't know. She seems like she's a sharp lady. I don't know if she's ready to be anybody's president. I hated that shit she said about, I won't just be in control of Black people, and here you are, Howard, AKA member. But we get unfortunately, we get played by our own people. We get played by our own people much, and we accept it.
Yeah, she proved that she ain't Black.
In the house. What up, what's up, now? Hey, man, love y'all, family.
Appreciate that, Nap. This brother always supports the platform, so I definitely got much respect for Nap, and he definitely tweets the information out. He supports when he can, so I just want to give you a shout out, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Professor Original, one of you guys want to say something? Because Professor, I know you was coming in as well too. So, and let me, before you say something, Professor, I got to say this right here. I'm in Florida. If Ron DeSantis becomes, I've never voted for Ron DeSantis in none of the actual elections that he's taken place in. I voted for what's our boy name that they got messed up, Andrew Gillum, a few years back, and Andrew Gillum was close to actually beating him. We see how that kind of turned out with Andrew as well too. So, but I can't vote for either three of these. I can't vote for either one of these. I can't vote for I can't vote for Trump. I can't vote for Biden, and I damn sure can't vote for Ron DeSantis. I just can't do it. Period. Like I have to see.
Open again, then. The top of the ballot open again, then.
Yeah, it's an open ballot for me. If they anything in the presidential, I voted, and I vote more for the local things in my state and city or whatever. I'll do that. If I see a candidate worthwhile on the ballot, and I'm to the point where I'm no longer voting by party. I that party stuff stopped in 2016 for me. That was the last time I was a Democrat. So, but I can tell you straight up, Ron DeSantis, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, I can't do it. Ron DeSantis he's actually the lowest one to me. As bad as Trump and Biden is, because DeSantis is a wannabe. He's willing to go ahead and sacrifice as many Black people as possible to show that he's something special. So he, in a way, Ron DeSantis is more frightening to me than even Donald Trump, and even Joe Biden. Joe Biden is old. Most of his damage has been done. He's been doing damage to Black people for 50 years. So he's old and he's ready to sit down. But I can't mess with no damn Ron DeSantis. I'm sorry. I can't do this dude. Period.
I agree with you. The thing about Ron DeSantis, he's also smarter than Trump, which thereby makes him more dangerous to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's definitely more dangerous. So I agree, and he's a wannabe too. So he's willing, like I say, he's willing to do anything he can to go ahead and show just how down he is for the cause as well too. So he's definitely more dangerous. Numi, I know you was trying to get up here. We're trying to get you up here, sister. So if you get a chance to try to this Twitter app, man, good Lord, this Twitter app. What's his name? Professor, what's the one? What's the boy the name that owned from South Africa again? What's his name? Elon. I don't know what the hell Elon been doing up here, man, but this is becoming a complete shit show up here. This whole app is becoming a complete shit show.
That's exactly what it is. That's why we have to rename this motherfucker. We're going to rename it to Shitter instead of Twitter.
That's exactly what it is. You can't get the people up here like you used to. It just, I mean, people requesting to come up here. People can't see the mic. My man Ray trying. I done sent Ray the co-host, the speaker. He sees it, but he can't accept it. Like, I mean, this is just becoming. I mean, this is just becoming ridiculous here, man. I mean, I know Leon. You said they sent a new. They sent the new the new updates today or whatever. I guess I might try that later on because the updates they had wasn't working, so we had to go to the opposite route, and we had to go ahead and use that black innovation to go ahead and keep searching and searching and searching. Q, I'm trying to get you up here. I am trying. Trust me, it's not me. It's not even the space. It's the actual app that's going ahead and that's messing everything up here. So I'm sorry about that. I know you come up here sometimes. Would love to have you speak as well too. It's not us, y'all. It is the actual app. Like I say, Elon, and I don't know what's going on. He should not have fired all of them damn developers and people, but nonetheless, they went ahead and did it anyways.
Yeah, he did, and it's been messed up ever since this man took over, and so I'm hoping at some point we can finally move completely off of this app. But for the meantime, Black American family, this app is now been renamed to Shitter. You can take a shit with this app. That's how bad it is. So when you get on your toilet tonight, you just get on there. When you're looking at your phone, you say, "Yep, I'm taking a shit as I'm looking at Shitter." There you go. That's what you'll do. You just say, "I'm taking a shit while I'm looking at Shitter." It'll make you shit faster. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Let me give a shout out to you, Nap. I see you just made a contribution on Cash App. I appreciate that. Up in the Jumbotron, y'all, on the third to the right, the third on the right, we have one of our Newstoter's affiliates with Poetic Jeans. For any of the sisters out there, this is for the curvy sisters. This is for the Black women. This is for the body types that you don't get in all of these regular department stores. If you ladies are looking for a clothing line to go ahead and check out, they have a 15% discount as well, too. Up in the third, on the third to the right, you'll find the actual affiliate link. Yes, it is affiliate. We are affiliate. So if you do buy something, we will get paid. But they do have a 15% off of your first order, a flat 15% off on your first order. It is from Poetic Justice. Check that out, guys. I tweeted it out as well, too. If you see it, go ahead and go to and just check out and see exactly what they have to offer as well, too. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there as well, too. It's Poetic Justice. And it's a brand, it's a gear that's dedicated to the actual Black female body as well too. Like I said, it's not the typical Macy's type stuff where you ladies have to try to squeeze in or whatever. It's gonna fit you and complement your body type the way it should be complemented. Just want to put that out there as well too. Original, what's going on, man? I know you up in the speaker. What's going on, Original?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just taking in what everybody was saying, but I'm kind of like you. One, I did not. I'm proud to say I did not vote for Hillary in 2016. I did not vote for Jim Crow. I didn't vote for Hillary or Donald in 2016. Did not vote for Jim Crow Joe or Donald in 2020. Because my main issue is, see, at least, and I understand what people are saying about Donald Trump. I really do, because the border needs to be closed. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to come up off some reparations for Black people. Because, see, now, his team did talk to Ice Cube, where Ice Cube had his contract with Black America. Jim Crow Joe said, we'll discuss that, after the elections. And I don't think they've discussed that with Ice Cube to this date. But yet, and I've been giving them hell on Twitter, letting them know that we're not voting for them. You do not have the Black vote secure. They do not have the black vote secured. And I think after the NAACP just got their ass handed to them by us, they are standing on some real shaky ground right now, because they're wondering, what in the hell are we gonna do? the Negroes got guns, and that gun is their vote. So what they gonna do? That's Robert F. Williams out of North Carolina, Negroes with guns. But I think it's going to be interesting, and somebody is going to have to speak directly to us, not at us, and they're going to have to answer, us, not these fake so-called leaders like Al and others, because see, a lot of people don't seem to understand that that right there, what happened to the NAACP the other day, because they had to, they caved in. They could not take that pressure. They caved in because black folks went at them. They threw not only the kitchen sink, they threw the whole neighborhood at their ass. And then they came out with a letter stating that they offer cash payments, but not the $5 million. $5 million is not enough. So, this is going to be interesting to see with all these groups, because I think during the elections next year, I think Agent Al Sharpton gonna catch some hell too, because he's gonna stand up there and start telling black folks to go out there and vote, and black folks are gonna tell him to go F himself, and see people gonna try to say, oh well, you can't talk to a preacher. Yes, you can. He ain't nobody. You can talk to him any way you want to. He don't matter. And I think they're finding this out because, I just want to say it's going to be very interesting. But I wouldn't have a problem voting for Donald Trump, but he's going to have to address our reparations issue, because the days are dead saying that we're going to vote for you, and then we can discuss our issues after the elections. No, that can no longer take place. And I think the more we keep pushing, they're gonna understand, because like Malcolm X always said, we are the deciding vote. And if we don't if enough of us, whatever that number is, if enough of us just don't vote, the Democrats are done. There isn't any hope for them. They are done, and they know it. So you're gonna have to. The Democrat has decisions to make. Either you're going to support us, or we're just not going to vote for you. Because, like I said, I didn't vote for Hillary. I didn't vote in 2020 as well. When they had the election, the Senate election here in Georgia, and I'm still kind of wondering if Raphael really won that election. I didn't go out there and vote for Raphael, because what they're doing here in Georgia, I gotta find that. I think I kept that little it's something about where they'll mail you something saying that who voted in your neighborhood and who didn't vote. So they sent me one of those things, because I voted, but I didn't vote for. I only voted for the proposition that was on the ballot. But and they sent me something. It didn't indicate who didn't vote, but it said so and so on my street. It didn't cite their address or anything, But I am not going to vote for these people. And I know some of them are probably listening to this space. If you ain't talking reparations for U.S. descendants of chattel slavery, not black folks, U.S. descendants of chattel slavery, we're not voting for you. You can no longer count on the black vote, plain and simple. So either you deal with it, or you suffer the consequences. And I'll land with that.
Real quick before you land, Original, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that they're going to slap the cuffs on Donald Trump?
No, they're not going to arrest Donald Trump. Even here in Georgia, I still kind of don't believe that, although they're going through all this hoopla and everything, I think it's more staged than anything else, that they are not going to arrest him, because, see, a lot of, if you look at it, a lot of presidents over the decade since I've been alive, when Richard and Watergate happened, at that time the Republicans had some sense. They told him that if this goes to the Senate, they're going to vote to convict him. So they told him if he didn't resign, that you're going to be convicted in the Senate. He did not have the votes to not be convicted, even with the Republicans. But see, now that everything is so polarized, but I still say that I don't know how it would end. Even with Trump, where the Republican had control of the Senate then. But now I'm looking at, even here in Georgia, I really don't think they're going to arrest him. And even if he is charged, I really don't believe that he will be convicted here in Georgia as well. Because there's going to be one person in that jury that's going to play the role to get on the jury, and they're going to hang the jury. So I don't believe that's going to happen. And I don't believe it's going to happen in New York as well. And if you look at it, how the DOJ, they've been dragging their heels for going on 3 years now, and nothing has happened. With the staff that the DOJ had, and you haven't brought forth any charges yet, because see, when these other I think George W. Bush did something. See, they've always wanted to present themselves as this model democracy, and that they have a smooth transfer of power. But see, this time it got disrupted. The transfer wasn't smooth. So now they're scurrying around and they're wondering, how in the hell are we going to get this back on track? Well, I'm not sorry, but it's not going to get back on track. So they have a lot of things to consider. And the one thing that they better consider is black votes, because I copied a JPEG, and I've been putting it in there, I've been tweeting it to them, letting them know that I think the JPEG had like black people. Okay, here's the JPEG right here. This is hate crime in the U.S. Now, 2020, black hate crime was 2,871. Asians was 279. 2021, black hate crimes were 3,277. Asian was 746. Now I'm trying to figure out how in the hell, as I tell them, how in the hell can the Asians get a hate crime bill and black folks don't have one? So no vote 24 is what I tell them. No vote 24. Even with the anti-Jewish thing, the Jew in 2020 was 683. 2021 was 817. But see, you listen to the media, they say, oh, the hate crime it has always been on the rise with black folks. The anti-gay is like 2020 was 673, 2021 was 948. So no one is more hated than us. And if these people cannot talk to us, Al Sharpton, NAACP, and Cobra, and the rest of them, they speak for us. So they're gonna have to figure something out. What it is, they're gonna have to come to that decision. But at the top of the list is reparations. So that's my take on that, because the days of just giving my vote away are dead, and I don't think they're gonna be resurrected anytime soon. So that's my take on it.
All right, appreciate that, Original. Up in the Jumbotron on the far left-hand side, guys, we have the link to the actual social media site that Black Majority State owns. If you guys could, please go ahead and seriously think about going ahead and creating a profile and joining us over there. Go ahead and create a profile on social. It is Black owned. Go ahead and make your way over there. That's in the Jumbotron as well, too. I just put it in there. It's on the far left-hand side. So when you guys get a chance, definitely go there. Also, make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. So we got the Newstoter YouTube channel up in the Jumbotron and the newsletter. Also support us on Cash App. That's $Newstoter. $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, largest Black American media news curation platform today in America. Once again, that is $Newstoter. If you do not have a Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal also up in the Jumbotron as well, too. Sister Sean, I'm going to get to you in 1 second. I want to read this comment real quick, and then I'm coming right to you. This is from National Reparations Convention. And National Reparations Convention says, we are the deciding vote for this election and maybe the next one. After that, the deciding vote will be the Latinx community. So that is exactly that's exactly what National Reparations Convention says, that hey, for right now and maybe the next election, we're gonna be deciding vote, but after that, pretty much is gonna be Latinx. So let me go ahead and kick it to Sister Sean. Sister Sean, how you doing tonight?
Peace, power, and reparations to the family. I see part of the, I'm a little bit upside down. We're talking about the silver bangles and whether or not Trump is going to be arrested. But let me just redirect and point you. We're going to be putting the silver bangles, and in Washington, D.C., we are going to be arresting, or at least proposing to be arrested, Muriel Bowser, which is our mayor, who has opted for sanctuary cities that nobody voted on. Nobody knows where the hell this law came from. And we've got all these illegals coming in, taking away our resources. Right now, what they're doing, there's some COVID ending kind of stuff. And I've got people from 3 jurisdictions, Chicago, Maryland, and D.C., that are on these food stamps. Now, they reapplied for their food stamps. They are getting $23 across 3 states. So I'm going to be collecting some data on that. So they're giving us $23 worth of food stamps and giving these illegals phones, money to burn, little debit cards, food, and maximum food stamps, when they're cutting all of our people's food stamps. And then, in addition to that, they're flooding the entry-level jobs. Those are the jobs for our, our younger people, like 18, 19, 20, 21, to get their leg in and to get a little bit of money and to get themselves introduced to the job market. They cannot. I have many stories. People have their our youth. They apply for jobs. They don't get them. They're giving all the jobs to the illegals. So what I want to really say is that I'm not really worried about the handcuffs on Trump. The MAGA folks are going to handle that. I want to have a new call. And we need to put the handcuffs on the people in our local elected, in our local jurisdictions. And for us, we're going to do it with Muriel Bowser. We need to start a major campaign. We need to reverse sanctuary city status. Because if you notice, it's only in Black communities. And we are being displaced because of these immigrants. So what we're doing is we're trying to formulate a new coalition, and we're calling ourselves the Chocolate City Coalition. You'll learn more about it soon. But we are actually meeting with elected officials, and we're calling for one, reparations. You already know that's my call, baby. But we also need to call for the reversal of the sanctuary city status. I don't think we understand or know that is voluntary. Who the hell voted for a goddamn sanctuary city? Raise your hand in this room. I know nobody can, because they arbitrarily put that status on us as a city where we live and we pay our damn taxes, where our grandmama and grandpappy done work for 30 years and asked us a motherfucking thing. So now all the money out of our city is going to these immigrants, and they're telling us, I got 3 cases, people who are downtrodden and poor, who need the food stamps. They telling me they new food stamps is $23 a month. Come on, y'all. These are our cities. Let's take back our cities. We need to be going to every mayor. You have to deal with it at the mayoral status and understand and figure out how to reverse the sanctuary city status. They do low twisted this shit on us. I don't know who the fuck voted for it. I know I didn't. Didn't nobody fucking ask me. And I know they didn't ask you. So we have got to really step up and get revolutionary like Malcolm X and everybody else and really keep it real. We got to talk. I love this space because this is how we can share. But let's take this to execution. Executing, call your local mayor's office. If you're in a sanctuary city, advocate to reverse it. We are going to be advocating in the District of Columbia and Maryland. And our name is Chocolate City Coalition. We taking Chocolate City back because that was our original name. And I'll dock my vote right there.
All right. Thank you, sister. Thank you as well. So this is, I know, in the DC area now. What's his name? Wes Moore. He's a mayor. He's the governor of what, Maryland now, right?
Yeah, he's Maryland.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can get on his bumper, but we need to get on Muriel Bowser's bumper. That's where all of the immigrants, they came from Texas. They bust them up in here. Okay. But they're trying to do the same stuff in the District of Columbia. They just voted to give them voting rights. They can actually vote in local elections. And that's a whole nother game. See, they proposed it for voting rights for these illegals. It was rejected, right? The House proposed it. But let me tell you the game that they're doing. The Republicans, and they do this on purpose just for show, to make themselves look good, right? What they did was they failed to qualify for very technicality. They rejected it on paper. So in the news, it said the House proposed illegals to vote in D.C. Here's the game. You got to know politics. Then the Republicans came and said, we rejected it, which they did. But guess what them slick motherfuckers did? They rejected it just to get the headline in the news. But part of the rejection, in order to reject something, it's an administrative process. You have to file it within 30 days. So even though the Republicans rejected illegals to vote, they failed to process their input within 30 days. So you can reject it. That's a verbal rejection. So that's what the media picked up on. But outside of a rejection, you have to do something. You have to file officially that you're rejecting, not just talking about rejection. So the Republicans rejected it, but they failed to file the final notices to lock that rejection in. That's how the damn illegals got the right to vote in D.C. But what they're going to do, they're going to twist it in political times to say they're going to hang their hat on, I rejected it. But because we're ignorant and we don't know the process, I'm telling you, it's chess. They did it just for the headline, but they, on purpose, did not follow through with the rejection. They just verbalized the rejection, but they did not solidify the rejection. So these are the tricks and games that we are in, and we have to understand it because it's two evils, right? And let me tell you why. So the Republicans act like they're against illegal immigrants. But let me tell you what the real story is. The illegal immigrants are the ones that's keeping them rich and that they're fueling because they are the main ones hiring them. They're the main ones who are fueling their corporate 500 companies. So they fake like in the media, like they're not for illegal immigration, but they really are. And this is a prime example, and I will keep highlighting in the District of Columbia. If you're really against illegal immigration, you blocked it just to get a fucking headline. You had 30 days to solidify it, but you let it pass because you wanted them to get the right to vote. Understand the game. Newstoter.
All right. Appreciate that, sister. Thank you for coming up and sharing that with us as well, too. So, is there anybody else that wants to say something? I know Nap, you came back up here as well, too. Did you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, just quickly, I wanted to ask Sister Truthful. She mentioned that is it the food stamps or what they call EBT now? $23 a month for a family. I mean, how is that even? Can you?
So what I've got, and I'm gonna be raising hell on this. Everybody needs to be raising hell nationwide. It is not a family; it is per person. So it's individuals. Okay. So the
so a family of four then would be like 80 or 23. $92.
4, 6, 8 plus 3 plus 3, 8 plus 3 plus 3. Do
92.
There you go. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's real, baby. And that is for real. Chicago gave me a report. Maryland gave me a report. DC gave me a report. They're making them recertify. And what they're saying is that the COVID money is gone. And so now they're putting people to $23 a month. But here's what don't make sense. Even before COVID, the basic rate for individual was about 100. So how the fuck did you get down to 23? So even if we didn't have no COVID, a single man or single woman, these are single rates that I'm quoting, it's about $100 a month, maybe 50. And damn sure ain't no damn $23 and below. And the reason why is that this is what we need to see. Because the illegal immigrants, they are not getting no 20. Do you think that they're giving them $23 a month? Hell no. They're giving them the maximum. They're just getting into this country. They don't even have jobs. They don't even speak English. Do you know how much of a disrespect this is? You don't have a job, and they're not high skill set HB1 visa type immigrants. These are low skill immigrants with no education. Our children at least have a high school education and can speak English. They can't do any of that. So they're getting maximum of the housing benefits, maximum of the food stamp benefits. They're giving them phones. We already know they up in hotels. If they don't have a house, they sitting up in hotels. They ain't paying no damn rent. Think about your own child. And your own child, I have a child. She's out there 20 years old trying to get a job, struggling. She's eligible for food stamps. And they told her she can only get $23. But right now, we got all these illegals in NOMA, something we call NOMA. That's the area. And New York Avenue, all the hotels. They sitting up there swanky in hotels with cell phone, pay, don't have to pay electric bill. Like I'm sitting up here struggling with these utility companies. Oh, we don't really want to talk about that. The struggle with these high utilities. We talking about electric, gas, and water. That's what I got to motherfucking pay. Plus my motherfucking mortgage. And my other counterparts got electric, gas, water, and rent. And only eligible for $23 in a fucking food stamp. And we can't get on these damn jobs. They out there for these jobs. We overeducated. with our high school diplomas, even if it's just our low level entry jobs. We got a high school diploma. We done did what we had to do. We got to compete with an immigrant who can't even fucking speak English. My high school diploma daughter can't even get a job over an illegal immigrant. She's out there on her own. Can't even get a food stamp. Oh, yeah, she got a food stamp. It's $23 a month. And her mother worked 32 years in this country. Paid taxes for all. I'm paying for these bitches right now. No, this shit got to fucking stop. So we have to DM me. We got to reverse the sanctuary city, and we have to stop. I don't give a fuck about the racism. The racism isn't hurting us as much as the illegal immigration, because they're coming over here and they're multiplying. And there's there's so much history. I wish I had Dr. Clyde Winters on here with me to tell about it. It actually wasn't the immigrants, but he has some historical facts, how they came and waited till their numbers were up, and they just annihilated and killed all of the indigenous people. So they sat here like they were in need. They needed help. And we sat there and allowed all these people in to our country until they got the advantage and the one up and the numbers over us, and they fucking killed us all. Annihilated us. That is fucking history. Okay? So we have got to really look at what's going down here. So there's a problem when you have American children, especially our teenagers, they're bridging their way, career bridges. They get little low-level jobs until they work their way up. Those jobs, they don't have them. That's why our kids is out in the street wilding. Because they're getting them to people who don't even belong in this country, immigrants. So normally, that's where our children made their way until they made their way up to their higher level job. They took a little McDonald's job or a little construction job or whatever. But them construction jobs, don't think that they're little. Them damn construction jobs, I found out, if you see the people holding the sign, say stop and go, I found out them motherfuckers is making $15 an hour. We can't even get hired at them because the construction site is discriminated against us. When our black children want to put in an application to hold a motherfucking sign just to say stop and go and conduct traffic, we will not get hired. You know, if you notice, look in your city. They are hiring now the Hispanic women to do that job. Those were usually jobs for our teenagers. Our children don't have no jobs. But yet this fucking Anus Brown Wilson, San Francisco NAACP, coming against our reparations, and I'm going to have to credit Dr. Randy Short for that. He calls him, his name is Amos Wilson, but we're calling him Anus because he ain't nothing but an ass. Wilson, coming against our reparations when we can't even get a damn construction sign holding up a fucking sign for our young children. And you're not offering us any trade or anything in the schools. What are you really preparing us for? That is prison to pipeline. And in the District of Columbia, put on game. They, Dr. Short, a couple of people in the District of Columbia, you better watch what they're doing behind our backs. They tried to legalize prostitution. They literally did that like right before COVID hit. Dr. Short spoke out against that. These people have a plan. Why the fuck are we trying to legalize prostitution? Because you know you have not prepared our children, men or boys. You have not prepared our men for trades. You haven't prepared our women for gainful employment. So they already know your gainful employment is that you got to be a fucking prostitute. Why else would you advocate for that as a fucking law in the District of Columbia? And we had to shut that shit down. Why is that even fucking legal? So you want to prison pipeline our men, and then you want to fucking pipeline our little girls to prostitution. Y'all better wake up and see what's going on in your city, because they doing this shit on the back end. If you don't understand or be on the email list for what rules and regulations are coming up for hearings and stuff, they are doing all that with no fucking vote.
All right. Thank you, Sister Sean. I appreciate that. We're going to be getting ready to close the space out in a second here. Original, I'll let you get one thing in. I'm going to go ahead and close this out in about, let me give you about 2 minutes, and then we want to go ahead and close this space out for the night. So go ahead, Original.
Yeah, I just want to say what that sister was saying is true, because see years ago in California, people were saying stuff like, the black youth didn't want to work, and that the Spanish-speaking people were more of a hard worker than the black youth. But see, what they wasn't saying was that these Spanish-speaking people, they were like 25 and older working in fast food. And most of them had families. So, of course, if you have a family, you're going to be more dedicated to your job to be able to provide for your family. Children are not as dedicated to their job as someone with responsibility. So they've been running these scams on us. And the saddest part about it is that these black elected officials, just like that old tramp, what's her name, Keisha Lance Bottom, she filed paperwork in a court of law here in Georgia defending the illegal alien right to be here. I don't call them illegal immigrants. I call them illegal aliens. And I don't care who don't like it. But she did that. And if you look across this country, just like the guy in Chicago, how he's promising all this stuff, this is the edict that's been set down by the Democrats to these stupid black folks. They don't care about us. They just want to do whatever. They're doing whatever they have to do to get a bag for themselves and their family, and that's it. We're not on their radar. So that's why I took my vote back and didn't give it to them. But I will say this: even with all these, when they say these Spanish-speaking people, the black vote will still be viable, because at the end of the day, I'm just not buying that aspect of it. At the end of the day, the person who gets the most votes wins. So to say that our vote is not going to be viable, I'm technically not going to buy that for now, because whoever gets the most votes win, and people will still need our vote, and I'll land on that.
All right, thank you, Original. We're gonna go ahead, DJ, real quick, because we're gonna go ahead and close this space out. I'll let you get the last word in there, and then we're gonna go ahead and close the space out for the night. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Original, even with that being said, we got to remember we got a popular vote and an electoral college vote. Hillary won the popular vote, but she lost that race, though. But go ahead, close it out, man. Peace out, y'all. Good night.
All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Check us out tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have another good space going. So everybody that's in the space tonight, make sure you guys check for the notifications. We'll be back in effect tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So everybody have a good night. I appreciate all of our co-hosts, speakers, listeners. Thank you to Professor for coming back up in here. Was glad to get you back up in here. Original, glad to have you up in here for a while too. It's been a while, and everybody's been struggling with the connection issues as well too. Give a shout out to Nap, and give a shout out to A Boogie. Thank you guys for your contribution on Cash App. We're gonna go ahead and close it out for the night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. So thank you guys.
Peace.